Man Tools is brought to you by
EXO Auto Works. EXO Auto Works is Colorado Springs' home of the $40 synthetic blend oil change. Call now, 719-375-3232, or visit exoautoworks.com to make your appointment.
Call us today in order to schedule your $80 wheel alignment on most vehicles.
Madrid Maintenance. Madrid Maintenance offers excellent handyman service in the Colorado Springs area, starting at just $45 an hour. You can reach them by phone at 719-963-2020 or online at facebook.com/Madrid Maintenance.
Trevor's Beard is brought to you by The Beard Struggle. The Beard Struggle is his go-to for beard hygiene and styling products, so you should click the link below and use the code TLANE15 for 15% off your order.
Enharmonic Studios. Enharmonic Studios is a hybrid digital analog facility designed to be quality and affordable to anyone who wants to make history. Call today, 719-963-2020, or go to facebook.com/Enharmonic Studios.
Fuck's sake, mate. Fucking bollocks this is. I shouldn't have to fucking do this shit, mate. I'm the king. What the fuck is this here? Can you just fucking move this out of the way? Fucking hell, mate. Being king is bollocks. I'm fucking done with this shit.
Live from EXO Auto Works. Streaming all over the world.
Coming for you, globalist!
It's your weekly dose of toxic masculinity.
Toxic masculinity.
With Eric Madrid.
Because if too many people are just running around with their dicks out, it's called the Harambe variant.
And Trevor Lane.
No. A of Karens.
Smart.
Hello and good evening, everyone. We're very sorry we're here tonight, and
We got a full house and a packed show.
full house. Yep. So we're really sorry for what you're about to receive.
Yeah.
Sorry, so sorry. Let's introduce our guests right away because they're going to be here the entire evening. We have Doug and Ian. Their last names have been changed to protect the innocent or the indicted. Either way.
Well, you're innocent until you're proven guilty.
Doug Brown Ian Ringler.
Yeah,
That's right.
Ringling.
Ringling.
Yes.
Better. I was gonna say ringworm, but ringling's way better. It's more of a circus. Yeah.
That's ringworm.
Instead
I
of
got that a lot growing up. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah,
figured,
thanks.
you were kind of a wrestler,
I was.
Yeah.
I was back in the day.
right? It's like cauliflower. You don't fuck with a dude with cauliflower. You just you're like, hey, he's like, hey, and you're like, hey, oh, never mind. Yeah,
I'm good.
I'm good.
We're all good.
we're good. I'm fine. It was my mistake. Dude, that's a man tool's wisdom right there.
Yeah.
Do not fuck with a dude with a cauliflower because you're like, no, I'm good. I was wrong.
Well, it's like a couple weeks ago we had that our sports segment happened in the subway because someone tried to tell Hoist Gracie, one of the Gracie boys, Renzo. You know Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Tried to tell him to speak English because he was speaking Portuguese,
Ooh,
and he
yeah,
told the
I saw
guy to fuck off.
Yeah.
And dude swung at him, and he just took him to the ground.
It was
and
all
held him.
over. It was all over.
Play stupid games. Get
Like,
some
yeah,
prizes, right?
that's
That's
right.
how it goes. Be the man be. So
Yeah.
the rule I have is, if you don't have an intention to go out and mess with somebody, don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Leave people be as much as can.
Yeah.
And I kind of expect the same back to me. If I'm being cool, I hope everyone's cool back to me. But
Sure.
if not, you do what you do.
Do you want to catch his hands? It's a hit song. I'm sure that was a hit song somewhere. We have a hell of a show for you tonight. We have a topic. When do we ever have topics?
Very rarely.
I mean, Randy Rude. We have topics.
Mostly for our locals.
Yeah.
Stuff. The paid stuff.
Yeah, the paid stuff. So you guys are getting like a 4-way for free.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you're getting. Like some of the meatiest, beardiest, beefiest bros you've ever botulism. Another B word.
We could call the show halftime tonight.
The Chevy,
Wow.
the Chevy dually.
There's some meat eating motherfuckers. Can I curse on this show? Or
Oh yeah.
Okay, I was gonna
Fuck
say
no.
Some meat eating motherfuckers. I would say.
Yes.
This is the show that birthed the cunt of Karen. So yeah,
Wow.
feel free.
Wow.
This is also the show that lost our entire YouTube channel because
Yeah,
people are sensitive.
that's right.
Okay. Well, hey.
Yep.
Oh, I know,
Well,
right?
cheers. Cheers.
Yeah,
to that. There you
cheers to
go.
that. Yeah, we actually
Today's day and age,
cheers.
compliment.
Just for
Because,
showing some bush.
not George
It's
W.
Mine, so that's a surprise.
Not George W. Bush.
Yeah.
Not Gavin Rosdale's Bush either. That was the best concert I ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bush and Hole opening up for Tool.
Oh,
Wow. A lot wrapped up in that.
and that is a '90s show that you could have seen at some point.
Yeah. Ooh. On that note, we're talking about band stuff tonight. I mean, the trials and tribulations about being an adult male, or toxic masculinity, man tools shit. And being in a band, I think all of us have been in a band all our lives, off and on ish. Trevor and Ian and Doug probably being the most wildly successful at it.
Just got another $30 royalty.
You son of a bitch. High fucking five, bro.
He was just telling us about that. Is amazing.
Right? That is
Making more than all three of us.
Dude,
all
I don't know where
Good
it's.
on you.
I guess it says somewhere on the sheet where it's being played, but I don't look past the balance. I'm like, that's cool.
Dude,
Yeah. BMI just sends me a little.
so amazing.
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
know,
Thanks.
dude. Yeah, I was just telling those guys to go watch that other episode. They're like, no shit. I'm like, no shit. All right, I'm super proud of him. Like, I need to find somebody that'll make me a gold or a myrrh record. I don't know.
Well, that's my crypto. I drop it into a crypto account because I don't care. It's
Sure.
between 10 and $30 a quarter. I'm not gonna. It's not like I have that earmarked for anything. So that's my. I don't care if I lose it. We'll see what this crypto does.
Nice. Sound investment.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. All right. Well, it's been a long, really weird road at being a musician.
Yeah.
And I just need to caveat this for everybody out there who, especially women who are like, oh, musician, and a bouquet of red flags thrown at me. I'm like, it's a whole guitar string pack of red flags. Okay. Like, we're needy. We're obsessed.
Yeah.
We're weird. We're focused. We're obsessed. What else? We're obsessed.
Obsessed.
For sure.
Obsessed for sure. I think we haven't brought that up yet. There's
maybe a tad bit of insecurity in there.
Oh,
because
are
no
you
matter
kidding
what
me,
you
dude?
do, it could always be better. You could always do something
What's up, Keys?
better. You know.
Our Sacramento, but now in Puerto Rico,
Ooh.
right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
Hey,
think she's
Joey,
still down
over
there.
there.
Joey,
The Paisano.
Joey, it's been too long, brother.
Awesome. We got people from everywhere. I think Joey might still be in Alaska.
I think he's back now.
Joey, are you back?
Yeah, we'll find
We'd
out.
like to know.
Acquiring minds.
Aaron's saying no red flags. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you to say, Aaron.
Yeah,
I don't think you know me quite well yet, but I appreciate the sentiment.
she's just like, well, he's hanging out with Riff, so he must be bad. I'm sure it all started the same way for you guys. At some point, somewhere, we saw something and it just triggered that in us.
Yeah.
That I'm going to do that someday. For me, it was watching Purple Rain in the theaters as a kid.
Ooh.
And watching Let's Go Crazy when he jumps to the end, stomps on the stomp boxes, and fucking goes all over everybody. And I'm like, yeah, I want to do that someday.
We need some stomp boxes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I've
Put together
started
a stage.
collecting them. I've started really collecting those. We need this
I'm
definitely.
going to start dressing very flamboyantly with lots of purples and beiges and
Rains.
yes.
He says start.
Nice.
Thank you.
Subtle.
I don't have many moments.
He's
Pop in every now and then.
he's physically he's in, I don't know what he's doing.
physically in Alaska, I think is what he's trying to say.
Yeah, he's in Alaska still.
Well, you are missed, Mr. Joey. You were missed.
That's the fun part. We get to interact with everybody.
So Purple Rain for you.
I think it was, yeah. And then I got to see Eric Clapton and Friends on HBO. I was like, well, my name's Eric. I could probably do that because you have that insecurity of like, oh, I'll start whatever. And, you know, your mom works the day job and then the diner job, and then she shows up with a little PV Telecaster and a Gorilla amp, and there you are. You're like 16 and like, oh shit, like, okay, well, let's do this.
That's awesome.
That's how, you know, I'm sure it all started basically the same way for all of us in some relative fashion. But the thing that I want to really talk about is the now, because yesterday is awesome, but you never get it back. And it built on, you know, built up who you are now. But now, like the trials and the tribulations and the elations and the things that really just made being in a band the thing that we do through. All right, who's married? Who's got kids? Right? Who has careers?
I guess so. Yeah.
I mean, right? You know, like you've been there 10 years, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
Who owns a home? All right. So see, all right. First time we're all on common ground. How fucking hard is it to go be a musician? Like, you guys have gone on tour, yeah?
Limited.
Like tour, or like so
I think
many
the
tours.
perception of me touring is a lot different than the reality of what I've done. So limited, very limited.
Okay. Well,
I think we've all been on the road at some point, going somewhere and playing music. Somewhere else, though. Yeah, definitely.
Sure. That kind of lifestyle, let's be real, unless you're in a top 10 band, you're not affording a home life. You're basically living in that van until you're done with tour. Then you get a condo, and then, right?
Yeah. At some point, the idea of, I remember being a kid and with one of the first real bands I was playing with. So if anyone that's, again, I don't want to go back, you know, you can read my stuff in other places. But
sure.
One of the first real bands, I'm talking like you're actually playing out in clubs, you feel like you're doing something, you're actually making money, was a band called Your Mother's Next. Now that's going back to like 1993. That's before the psychodrama and all that other stuff. So we had this dream that we were going to go on tour. And one of the main motivations was, hey, wouldn't it be cool that you wake up in a different city every day? And at that point, you know, I'm like 17 and a half. Like I was still in high school doing this stuff. So the other guys were a little bit older. So I was still a kid. So that idea, I was like, man, my mind's blown. That's what I want to do. But yes, let's do this.
Yeah.
I didn't have at that time the commitments of being married, number one. Number two, being a father. And then, you know, being a homeowner and then trying to hold down something that actually generated enough money to sustain not only myself, but those that I'm responsible for.
Yeah, your tribe.
Yeah.
Let's switch gears a little bit. The worst in our older life now, the worst possible thing that I can think of to do now is, because back then it was like, oh yeah, we're going to tour the world. We're going to be big rock stars. Yeah. We're going to like, you know, see. And I, again, this is why I love your attitude. It wasn't, I'm going to fuck a lot of bitches. It was, I get to see a new city, or like the root of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same for all of us.
Yeah. It was about the music, wanting to play and spread that, and the experience, being able to share that with people. And at least for I think everyone in this room, it wasn't about trying to just hook up and, you know.
And it wasn't even about
lifestyle.
It wasn't even about. I mean, you'd be envious of the guys that were really making money,
right?
But it wasn't even about, oh, I want, you know, the big house and fancy cars. It was just, if I could pay my bills.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the dream.
Yeah.
That was the dream. If I could do this and sustain, again, it, like everyone said, it was never about, you hear people like Gene Simmons and whoever else talk about the ladies. And if you're not saying that, you're lying. No, it never was. I'm not pretty enough. I was never pretty enough to be like the ladies' man. And so that was never my goal. In fact, I can count so many times that I was always the guy in the band where the dudes would come up to me and be, hey, dude, can I buy you a beer? And I appreciated that. I always did. I mean, how many times someone would come up and we would talk and we would sit there and like, I don't know this person. Or sometimes maybe it was somebody you knew, but here's someone that's taking time out of their night. They've already paid to see me. They're coming up. They just want to say hi and chat. So for me, it was always an attitude of like, I never felt like I owed somebody that. It was, I wanted to chat. I wanted to end that interaction with people again. And I appreciate it. That's what the goal was. You know?
I've told this story. I've never been laid from being in a band.
Right.
The people who come
Just
up.
your handsome good looks that make that happen.
The rugged handsome good looks.
Yeah.
Rugged. I love it. Yeah. Ramshackle would be a better word. Just broke down old. Yeah, whatever. Need a coat of paint and some windows. Anyway, the only people who came up to me after shows were these dudes, and like they were like way older, and they had like the tweed jackets on with the patches, and they drove a fucked up Subaru with like looked like weird, coexist stickers on it on shit, and they were just like, so I noticed your little green pedal on your pedal board. Is that the 1978 Tube Screamer, the Maxon?
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, bro, absolutely is the Maxon. Every time. And I will say this, on the flip side of that, the dark side of those conversations, you don't get herpes or whatever, but because you're not banging groupies. The dark side about that is that I got super insecure about my performing and so at some point it shifted from to buying really esoteric gear and trying to use those as tools.
Yeah.
And the focus became, and this is where some of the downside of being in a band is, all your money goes towards trying to buy a Klon or trying, that was a flex for a very niche market, by the way. Super flex. Trying to buy a Klon. And the thing is, I still do. I have a 1993 Paul Reed Smith when it was done in the garage. I have the Maxon pedal board. I have the original Script logo. I have the Klon. I have the below 1200 serial number Triaxis from Mesa Boogie preamp.
Wow.
And used that all through forever with you guys and with I still have no fat mod, like all the trigger words. And you know what? It never made me play any better.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The people I played with made me play better.
Oh, absolutely.
And that kicked in, I don't know, maybe 5-10 years ago. Like, oh yeah, it's not a
yeah, it's the feel.
Stop.
It's the player. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, nice gear helps you. It's a tool.
It is a tool.
But it's also funny because it's one of the few things that I think as a musician you kind of strive for. Like you could have absolutely nothing, but you'll save up. You'll like, okay, this will help me with what my mission is, what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
This will. So you'll find that musicians won't really. A lot of musicians struggle and will sacrifice to have those few things that they work towards, whatever that gear is, whatever that is for you, because I think it's different for everybody. Everybody has that one thing that they're like, man, I really like to get my hands on this, whether it's a nice guitar, whatever it is.
Yeah, you got your Dave Mustaine 8-ball, or
it's just those things that
your Hamer 12-string.
I was going to bring up, you talked about the insecurity, so and I hope this doesn't come off as cocky. I don't mean it to be. But I think I've been known for playing a 12-string bass. It's kind of got associated with me. And I'm fine with that. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's for a reason. Because you're talking about some insecurity. So if I'm being honest, when I was starting out with my first few bands, like I was all in the technical stuff, the proggy stuff, the 6-string bass. So it had to be a 6-string bass because I was going to be John Mayung or something.
So you're going to get a Tobias Growler and then
totally
flex.
All that stuff. Right. There you go.
Niche market flex.
So when I got my hands on a 12-string, I always wanted a Hamer 12-string bass because, they sound awesome. And most people would look at that and be like, oh, well, yeah, that's a gimmick. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
That is totally a gimmick.
Yeah.
Why the hell do you think I play one?
Of course I've got a 1979 Max on board,
Right.
Of course of course I do.
But I loved it. And I that was my main bass for so many years. I still play it. But it was that insecurity. It got to the point where I was almost afraid to not play with a 12-string bass.
There's the paradigm shift.
Identity.
It's identity.
Yep.
People expect to see that.
That's the expectation. Oh, that's that guy. He plays the 12-string.
Exactly. And the moment you don't,
Oh, you don't play that
You
anymore?
didn't-
Dude, where's your 12 string?
You didn't
Yeah,
meet-
where's your-
You didn't meet my expectation. What the fuck
Right.
is wrong with you?
and
You didn't do the thing from the last time.
Right.
Why?
And
Yep.
I'll be honest. I mean, if anyone's played one of those things, it's like playing a 12-string acoustic guitar.
Oh,
They're
Okay,
They're very
if
temperamental.
look,
Yeah.
if what's that fucking guy's name? Dave Matthews picked up a Strat, people would lose their fucking minds.
Right.
No,
Yep. That's
you
exactly-
you can't. Well, therein lies your own personal hell. Then and you made it for yourself because we do this so badly and so hard on ourselves. We are now seconded to their expectations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're a drummer. Don't sing,
Oh man,
Oh,
that's been my
totally.
biggest
right? No. You.
for a long time.
I got 2 words for you. Phil fucking Collins.
Yeah.
Like,
I got 2 more words. Night Ranger. Oh, there you go.
Oh.
I can't remember his name.
yeah,
You know what I mean, not Jack Blades,
the
but
big hit, Sister Christian.
Yeah.
I think he sang and played. No man, there's expectations. I mean, I've played in bands where within the band, it's like, well, look, man, you either got to go out front and sing, or you got to play drums. Can't do both. We need a front man, because then you have the other insecurity of the guys in front. Like, well, wait a minute, we need a person up here directing traffic. Like, we need somebody.
that's a great way to put it. Yeah, it's a great
And-
way to put it.
And a lot of times, I think, like being a drummer in a band, you're kind of like you're the filler in the back. Like, no, we wrote the songs already. And so as wanting to be a contributor, maybe writing lyrics or singing, like
Yeah.
I
'Cause,
I really had to fight for that. for a long time.
Rush never had good lyrics. I mean,
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. there's
KJ, I
an
know,
expect-
right? Like
there's-
Rush never did anything.
There's an expectation.
Little band you never heard of.
And sometimes I don't know, you have a hard time sort of like if you are known for doing one thing and you're trying to branch out and do something else and it's not well received or something, why would you do that?
Here's why, because I want to.
Yeah.
And it may be financially irresponsible to my investors, which is the record label and whatever. Guess what? I mean, we're a bunch of broke dick motherfuckers. We can do whatever we want.
Well, and also
We don't have
in
the
your
record
case, the
label.
argument about lack of a front man. Put a flashy guitar player up there.
Yeah.
So run around and fill that space. Because I mean, there is a visual component too,
Yeah.
and
That's
Problem
where
solved.
That's, where you come
That's right. I'm the face.
That's you.
I'm the
That's
body.
You too.
Hey,
Well,
I only move so much these
there's-
days.
there's-
I'm getting slow in my
there's,
older, bigger age.
it's like I saw Yngwie a couple years ago, and I was very disappointed because I thought Tim Owens was still singing for him
Gotcha.
Oh yeah.
because he did like 3 or 4. He was the longest running singer at 3 records,
Right.
something like that with
I didn't
Yngwie.
know that. Wow. Yeah.
And I had no idea that he had left.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was boggled because I don't know how that would work with an actual lead singer, because Yngwie's all that stage is his. Get the fuck out of the way.
He's kicking picks at your face the whole night.
Yeah.
It's fun shtick. I liked watching him play. I liked watching him release, or what did he say? I'll unleash the fury. He did every time I've seen him. Here's something I did that a lot of people don't know. The reason I have my own companies was and not really anymore, because now I enjoy it more than anything, was the ability to stay solvent. So I had a way to make money to pay the bills, and then I had a way to go on the road and go tell my story and meet guys in twill jackets and talk about my gear in faraway lands, like Omaha and Beaumont and Pensacola, these mysterious lands. Dubuque,
Yeah.
Minot,
Actually,
fucking Minot. Minot's not. It's like Pueblo light.
Okay.
Flat Pueblo.
You leave them alone.
I almost got arrested for taking a bum shower in the mall. The cop's like, the cop was trying to shave and take a quick bum shower because I had to go do the radio interview, and he's like, "Hey, you can't do that here." I'm literally doing it, bro.
Yeah.
Give me 3 seconds. Hold on. Shave. He's like, "No, you can't." And I turned around and looked at him like, "No, sure." It's like 8 a.m. Like,
Yeah.
there's only old people walking around there, and nobody's gonna care.
That's like the speed walker
Yeah.
crowd.
Yeah,
They're not gonna care.
They're probably the ones that ratted you out.
No.
There's a
Yes.
scary man
No.
in the restroom.
No,
and
they were
he's
just
singing,
like-
and That's not what the mall in
He's
Minot
doing
is about.
tops and tails at the same time.
No, what happened was they saw a non-octogenarian walk into the mall, and they're like, "Uh-oh! So I turned around, and looked at him, and was like, "Look, man, I got tickets for the show tonight, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "Watch the door." Okay. And he goes and watches. Gave him 2 tickets for the show that night for us and the main act, the national act. And he saw me there. He's like, "What's up, bro?" I was like, "What's up, man?" Cool. Took a picture of him. And the best part was his old lady was wearing a TARDIS dress. I was like, "Dude, you have no idea. Come here. We're going to be friends now." Like,
that's awesome.
Like, your old man almost arrested me this morning with his taser and his little like pepper spray. We had a moment in the bathroom. She's like,
he observed.
Yeah, you guys are going to be good friends.
Yeah.
You guys are both dicks. I basically set up my own businesses so that I could do things on my terms so that I could keep doing the music stuff. I was very fortunate to monetize those hobbies, the remodeling, doing tile, playing with power tools and, recording in studio, stuff like that. And then this podcast, I mean, that's a 6-figure Thursday night, 0.06.
6 figures behind a decimal point.
Which is probably still more.
I know.
On Spotify.
It's so true. I think I've.
However, this guy over here.
He's the money bag. Yeah, Daddy Woolbucks over here. He's got 1 album on them iTunes.
It doesn't hurt that I don't have to split it with anybody.
That's true.
You do a solo album.
That's right.
That's
right.
Man.
That's right. Geez, that's funny.
And I better say it now because I'm going to not to interrupt your story.
No, but
I'm sorry
because that ties in because the album. Tell them what the album was.
Beowulf, a metal opera.
Right. You actually. I'm gonna be. Oh fuck! What was that guy? Oh, now I forgot. This Is Your Life. So the micro.
Oh yeah.
Trevor, we have someone from your past. Do you remember a moment when you were at the rehearsal space / show that night, and you and Hans were eliciting the services of this young man? Bing bong.
Yeah. So I don't know if you remember this years ago, and it was you and Hans.
That place over on
It was
York.
I think this was actually at so not the rehearsal space. This is actually
The show
at what was then called the Union Station,
the Onion,
which is a fun place to play Randy and everyone there's cool people there. So I was in the band Section 16 at the time, and I was in that band for many years, many moons.
Yeah, I went to a lot of those shows.
And thank you for going.
Yeah,
that was awesome. I remember talking to you quite a bit.
Yeah.
This one particular
Trevor and I
night,
lost our virginity to a Section 16 show.
Really? Wow.
To each other.
Wow. Hey,
At least he laughed.
I saw Monkey Patch did more than. There you go. But it was one night, and I was talking to Eric and Doug at dinner beforehand, and I privately I'll talk all the smack in the world, but publicly I try to keep bad. Every band has bad stuff. It happens. But
you have dirty laundry.
That night was one of the worst nights I've ever experienced in that particular band. In fact, that was one of the early stages that I knew that I was out.
Yeah.
I'm done. We'll try not to get into who and who, but I have one person yelling at their wife over here, other people changing songs in the set list without telling anybody else.
Yeah.
That was I've always tried to keep it.
Don't do that, kids.
Yeah.
No, you don't audible. You don't do it.
I have always tried to keep it very, everyone, hey, work with Ian. Oh, he's a nice friendly guy. Ian.
Yes.
And as I've gotten older, I'm the grumpiest Gus you'll ever meet. I'm a grumpy old bastard. I am. But that particular night, I broke one of my personal codes. And I think the only one I didn't yell at on stage in front of audience members, the only one I didn't yell at, I think, was Jeremy, the drummer. Everybody else, for whatever reason, I yelled and snapped at. Like, let's get it done. I'm done. Let's get it done.
Nobody helped him load that Ampeg refrigerator.
I was done. And as I was throwing
ran out
fit,
the door.
I'm done. I'm leaving as soon as we're done. I'm out like this BS. And go outside, and I'm throwing my amp back in the back of my old Explorer. And at that point, that's when Trevor and Hans came up and said, hey, you know what would be cool? it'd be kind of cool if we got Ian to play on our stuff that we're working on.
Timing.
And I was like, oh, dude, timing. You guys are the biggest guys. And I'm sure
on an off night.
And I'm sure I looked at you guys with scorn in my eyes, almost saying, you better get the fuck away from me. So I wanted to say, it's been years, man. That's been a long time. So I want to formally apologize.
Well,
because I would have worked with you guys.
Yeah.
And I know it's easy to say what you would have done in the past, but I apologize because it really was I felt so unprofessional that night. And that's the only time I've ever snapped. And obviously things resolved themselves to a certain degree afterwards and then fizzled out the way they did. But with that particular band, but I apologize, man. I'm so sorry.
Oh, thank you.
A fun experience to work with you guys.
It apparently was a lot more memorable to you.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
Well, to be fair, your royalty checks would be smaller had Ian been involved.
Yeah,
that's
so
true.
there you go. Yeah,
that's true.
You know, I mean, sometimes all things work out.
Silver lining.
I mean, the closest thing that I get to a royalty check, and it's very rare now. We had one of the Section 16 songs that made it on. I can't remember exactly how that happened, but one of the songs made it on to Power Rangers.
I remember that.
Ninja Storm.
Yeah.
Ninja Storm. So not the original.
So like
one.
the Ocho?
Yeah, right, the Ocho. And I always felt bad for Corey, our singer, because it was all instrumental. There was no bit about Corey singing. He still got paid the same. I mean, it was a chunk of money up front, don't get me wrong. And then we got small residuals afterwards.
Yeah.
But, when everyone's getting like 35-cent checks, it's like, wow, it costs them more to print the check.
By the way, folks, we actually got checks mailed to us back then.
Yes.
In our day. And stamps for 25 cents.
Right.
So they weren't netting a whole lot of profit sending that check over.
They probably deducted the stamp cost out of it.
They probably did,
This check would have been 57 cents, but because of the cost of mailing it and a filing fee, unfortunately, it's going to be 32 cents or whatever.
Exactly. But it gets to the viability, or you want to talk about the sustainability of doing what we do.
Yeah.
You also can't go into doing this stuff thinking, like we talked about earlier, about making the money. The dream was always, hey, can I make enough to sustain my lifestyle? Mm-hmm. And after doing this now for, I don't know, it's been a long time.
Well, let me just caveat for 1 second for the listeners who are just popping in. We're talking about like recording and releasing your own original music in the hopes that it will break into some sort of charting and become, culturally profitable, viable, right? On a mass scale enough to where enough people purchase it. Not being a product of the machine, a Britney Spears, a Boyz II Men, Jackson 5. You're a product that's been cultivated, or a cover band that plays locally and makes some scratch because you are a venerable jukebox.
You sound like the radio.
And the closer, and there's the weird part. The better
you are. You sound like Spotify.
You sound like Spotify. Yes. What's the radio?
Because the radio is even gone.
Because the better you are, the more you sound like the radio, the more people dance. And as long as you don't deviate from their expectations, you get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Not bagging on those folks at all. Not even a little bit.
No, I mean, we talked about this.
But what we're saying is, from that original standpoint, trying to be, get royalties, trying to get, and we grew up in a time of 10-point deals, which meant you got 90 cents on every dollar. I don't know how the math works out on that. Remember that though? Yeah, you get a 10-point deal. That means you get 90 cents on every dollar. I'm like, and then you got to split it between your producer, your label. I'm like, wait, but you already took the other. Wait, what?
Yeah, they'd give you
the 89 cents.
And they would take all their money off of the profits, and you would be paying off the record for your career.
And then if you ask for a breakdown on that, they would never be able to give you one. And you're like, what's happening here? Yeah. Those days are gone.
Yes, they are gone.
Kind of stoked about that. Technology has brought us to a point where, people like Trevor and I can have podcasts. People have no business.
You can making
learn a record.
I was gonna say
having a podcast.
You can learn Pro Tools by making a record.
Yeah,
which I did. I don't recommend that.
Eric, what does this button do? I don't even know.
I was watching a video recently. I think it was. I can tell these guys. I have the memory of a moth, folks. Ask me what I did 5 years. When I was 5, I can remember that 5 days ago. No, it's gone. I was watching a video. The main guy that runs Porcupine Tree, Stephen Wilson, and he was talking about like how more than ever right now, and of course it's his opinion, and I'll put a disclaimer out there, like I'm not an expert on anything, so take what you will from me. Listen. Maybe a cautious warning.
No, we say no one should listen to this podcast.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. We've already said that. Nobody.
But this Stephen Wilson guy was talking about like right now more than ever with the advance of technology and how it is so simple for anyone to create music.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about like the rock stuff that we're talking about. We're
talking about anything.
Anything. You push a button and now you've got a drum loop. You push another button, you've got a synth loop. And now you've got more people right now than any time in history that are creating music. So you have all these creators. So right now, I don't want to call it the market because it's not really a market, but the landscape of
culture,
music, is saturated. There is more music being put out. So that challenge comes in is how do you grab someone's attention to say, hey, over here, look at me. I have this to show for you.
So which is interesting because it used to be that you had the gatekeepers of the labels.
Yeah.
And now it's anyone who feels like it can put something out. The question is anybody going to pay to listen to or even for free? Right. Are they going to even listen to it for free?
My optimistic attitude on the world, the happy-go-lucky guy that I am, the cream will rise now because of all the sludge.
Yeah.
Sure.
I follow Ellie Dixon on the Instagram. I've been following her for a couple of years. She started out doing like little harmony videos.
Okay.
She's touring the UK, headlining now, 3 years later. Because she's,
amazing.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So you guys pop over to Ellie Dixon. We'll maybe put a link in the thing.
Sure.
Because I'd really love to tag on to her 1 million followers. I'm kidding. But little gal from Great Britain and phenomenal singer, perfect pitch, or at least great relative pitch. And and she can spit on a verse. Like she did the little, again, a weird mix of like, what's the landscape?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm going to write a bunch of my own songs, which are actually really fun and quirky, especially in her style. It's very original. But I'm going to spit a verse on a Drake and an Eminem and a Britney Spears and they're great.
Yeah.
In the style of Eminem.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So you never know.
You never know.
I guess the advice, if any, we're not an advice show for sure, but do what you do it well. The universe supports pure intention.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree. You have to be. I mean, I think anyone that puts out non-genuine stuff to themselves, it will come across. Eventually, that's going to come across that way.
Yeah, yeah, and
quickly.
I would add to that in any art form.
Yeah.
I mean, with the possible exception of acting, because the whole idea is to not be you. But
that's true, exactly.
But
Yeah.
whether it's like stand-up comedy
Semantics,
or doing music or graphic design or whatever, if you're not doing your thing, it's gonna look like you'll
be disingenuous, and they will smell it from a mile away, and you won't go anywhere at all. Brakes.
Yep.
Just hit it.
I remember ages ago. Again, this is back in the day. I know we're not trying to talk about them. We're talking about now, but there was some wisdom that was passed on to me from people that were older than me at the time. And I'm going to not state these correctly, but it was advice given to bands at the time. Because at the time, bands, that was a real possibility. Like if you're in a band, you could make it. That was the dream. You could work hard. You could make a living doing this.
There were people doing it.
Yeah. So the number one rule was, the number one reasons why bands don't make it is, number one, they quit. Flat out. You can't get anywhere if you quit. Number two, and this is harsh, but this is the truth, you suck.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you don't quit. If you suck, you suck.
Yeah.
And so I've always kind of have, there's other rules, but I forget what they are, but those two always hit me deep, and.
Well, and I think what's kind of sad now is the way that people find out they suck is from the internet.
Yes.
Right.
It's not from like playing a live show at a club that nobody knows about.
That's
and,
so true.
You get booed or whatever. It's like, all right, well, those 5 people know who I am and that I'm horrible. But now it's like, oh, everyone on YouTube. And here's the flip. So your video or whatever could get a gazillion views, but it's all people that want to shit on you.
That's what it is.
So you could even be monetized because you're because of how bad you are.
Anybody see the couple talking about cupcakes and mustard, and he's got the drum machine and he's playing that rad keyboard solo on his Casio, and then she's singing, and they're in a clothing department store? Did you catch that?
I didn't watch the whole thing.
It's going to be the hit of the season.
Yeah.
Because of that. It's so bad. You're like, it's a train wreck. I gotta watch
And
it.
you know where I think that kind of started was American Idol.
Yeah, sure.
Because the fun part of watching American Idol is not when they're in LA and everyone
Right.
good is
Yes.
gone through. It's when
Yes.
they're in Cleveland and it's William Hung. And
Yes. Dude, you were
Cleveland,
spot on.
Cleveland, we look forward to your letters.
I'm going to chime in on that one for a second too. So once upon a time, I auditioned for American Idol.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
I went through the whole process. I did all that in Denver. It was the last year I could do it because they changed the age restrictions each year. So I think at the time I was like 27, and that was it. You were maxed out. And then the next year it went down even.
Because your little,
yeah.
You had to go to Carousel.
Right.
Logan's Run.
Yeah.
Jenny Agata. Jenny Agata. All right, go ahead.
So it's like a 3-day process. And you know, total cattle call. You had to go. You had to stand in line to get, a wristband. The wristband was the whole thing. You would wait all day for that. And you come back a few days later, and all these kids, everybody's lined up. I think it was at Mile High Stadium at the time. And you realized how much of that show, it's television.
Oh, yeah.
It's a show. And you're not auditioning in front of anybody on the show. You're going through a string of producers. You're going to have 15 seconds to sing. That's what it was at the time.
Wow.
Pick a song, and you'd be in groups of 4. So you go down to cattle call, you're out on the football field. There's like probably 15 tables set up. There's 3 people at each table. And then okay, go ahead, sing. 15 seconds. That's what you get.
Did you do Jet City Woman?
I did not. Actually,
Damn, you should have, because
I did.
For those that don't know, Doug is not just a drummer. He's an amazing vocalist. And when you think about his family lineage, where he's come from, and, talking about Lonnie, talking about Uncle Corey, Doug stands out in his own right so much. Doug's a fantastic singer.
Thank you.
Yeah. There's my little.
I appreciate that.
But I say that from the heart.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so I didn't interject.
So I think I actually did Journey. I said, because I thought, okay, like you can't go wrong with
cinnamon gum,
yes.
Wrigley spearmint.
Yes.
I think
it was Faithfully. I can't even remember. But yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I remember being in a group, and there was a couple. There was a couple really horrible singers in the group, and then there was a girl that was just phenomenal, and she was just great. And she was young, and she had the look and the energy, the charisma. And I remember these guys, they were just like, well, it was pretty good. Maybe come back next year. And I was like, holy shit, like this girl, smokes my ass. She's great. She's phenomenal. And she's very good. And it was just so dismissive. And then you would see other tables, there would be like, it was the shock value.
I was going to say, how many train wrecks did they let through for the train wrecks?
Yeah. They'd get the ticket and they'd go through. And then I remember, it was just almost like a head game, because like they put you in, you had this huge football field, and they put you in the sunny side of the field. So in the afternoon, you're roasting, and there's this whole other shadowy side that, like, why are we over there? And they're just putting you through, just the test, just trying to just kind of psych you out. It's about television. It's a television show.
Yeah.
And it's not about vocal ability, and it's not about talent. It's about marketability. It's about a show, number one, and then it's about what can
post.
we do.
Yeah, well, how can we make money in post?
Let's franchise on the top 5 people.
Yeah.
And it was just crazy, the experience. I'm glad that I did it, but at the same time, we're like, oh, okay, wow, this is what people think this is not at all what it is.
What you should have done was like when you were there, and you could have hung out with Daughtry and been his drummer, and then this would have been a whole different story.
Oh man, totally, yeah.
Right?
Right.
He didn't win, right? Like, not even close.
I don't think so. Yeah.
It's like,
just
no.
his own thing.
He's like, nope, I'm gonna go work with Chris Lord-Alge, and I'm gonna go write some cool rock songs.
Totally.
Go do stadium tours.
Totally.
I know.
Well, that's another weird thing with American Idol. Not to keep talking about it, because I think we have better shit to get into, but a lot of the winners don't do that well after.
Yeah,
Like
no.
a lot of it's the second places and thirds
Yeah,
that do.
sure.
You know, from what I understand, is it the top 3 that all get a record deal?
At the time, I think.
I
it used to
think
be.
I don't know
You're
now,
probably
but
right.
I think it was the top 3.
Only thing, American Idol fucking sucks because they came along right when Firefly dropped on Fox, and then they fucked over the time slot for Firefly.
Yeah.
And then 24 showed up, and then we didn't watch, and Firefly got all screwed up, so all we got was one season in a movie.
You gotta get all the
That's
brown
because-
coats all fired up, man.
That's because of American
Goddamn
Idol.
right.
Yeah,
It was.
well,
Because of fucking American Idol. They
Yeah.
screwed us up.
You know, it's funny. It's like a cultural phenomenon. At the time, it seemed like groundbreaking. Like, oh wow, they show. Have you seen this? You know, America. Everyone was watching.
Yeah.
It was kind of the beginning of the whole reality. You know, it's kind of like
The reality talent show.
yes,
Yeah.
reality
Yes.
talent show. Like that'd been a big thing in Europe and other places for a while, but here, you know, it just took off, and it kind of like that just sort of changed the tone of everything. I think from that point.
Yeah, karaoke singers got attitudes and
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
egos after that.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously, got all uppity. I was like, bitch, sit down.
well, all you got to do is go. Well, you're pitchy.
No, I would just go to him, right, look, I've never heard the better rendering of someone mowing over a cat with a lawnmower.
There you go. Yes.
You know, I will say actually, the table of producers, there actually was one like British like pompous asshole at the table that sounded just like that, and I had wondered like, I wonder is this guy like legit or does every table have one? Is that like okay, you're an actor, we're gonna hire you? Like, you don't need to know anything about music, just you're the asshole at the table,
Yeah.
and you're the
Americans are okay hearing bad news from someone in a British accent.
Always. Always.
Right, your testicles have fallen off, and I'd like to buy you a cup of tea. You're like, okay, tea sounds lovely.
That sounds comforting.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Earl Grey.
Earl, of course. Make it so.
Wow.
I got a Picard and I got all of it. Like, boom, I got it all in one.
On fire.
Yeah, somebody put me out.
Making it rain with references.
Dude, with the money I make, it's hail. It's all quarters. I can't make it rain. I just make it hail.
I think, I don't know, that kind of was a pivotal moment, and the way things are now, 20 years later, it's like that times 100. And it's so, but now everything's online. Everybody wants to be a content creator. It's not like about being a musician.
Yeah.
It's about like just getting something out there.
Let's dive into that a little bit because technology is always a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
On the one hand, it's technology that took away the gatekeepers of the labels.
Yes.
You can have a hit without, Atlantic knowing who you are or whoever. But the flip to that is, so now every asshole with a computer and a microphone
Yep.
can make music.
Can't swing a dead cat in here with that.
Yeah. I was there.
Yeah.
It's true.
So it's like the
Did you
your
watch?
potential has gone,
Did you watch Sound City?
but the likelihood has gone.
Oh, it's dry.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, and the fact, you think about all the new stuff. Okay, you brought up the guy playing whatever, the little keyboard thing in the mall or whatever.
Oh yeah.
You have to, when you talk about the attention span of the general public that may watch, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Twitter.
Well, let's be real. They've chopped it all
TikTok.
down to reels and shorts.
Exactly. I mean, the
So-
attention span is fast. So the challenge there is how do you market? How do you grab someone's attention? How do you get there for just 2 seconds?
With a snippet.
The snippet. Say,
Yeah.
Hey, look at me. Listen to this. I got something over here. I was talking to my wife earlier today, and she likes to listen to the digital music, not Spotify. She does YouTube music, whatever. And we were talking about like, hey, what are you guys going to talk about tonight? Well, we'll see when we get there.
We don't know.
Started talking about this. My wife
We don't know.
had said, she's like, every now and then when I'm listening to, she's got her playlist. She likes her streams. She likes whatever she likes. Another benefit.
Which is another benefit,
you
right?
Pick whatever you want
Yeah.
to listen to. But every now and then they'll throw something off, a little pop-up that says, hey, we think you might like this.
Yeah.
And so I asked her, I'm like, how often do you actually click on that? And she's like, oh, I never do, because it's like one time I did, and it was like 30. I got 10, 15 seconds in. It wasn't for me, and I clicked off of it. So and I'm not begrudging my wife for that. I'm just saying, I think I do that too.
Yeah, we all do.
That little window of how you can grab someone's attention marketing wise in this new landscape of the digital spectrum, the content, because it's not music anymore. Now it's content.
It's content.
Well,
and
it's with
short attention span.
And it's with everything. Like I don't know if you're familiar with a comic named Andrew Schultz.
No.
Guy out in New York, but he's revolutionized because he figured out how to kind of hack YouTube for stand-up. He's like, the hour special's done. 2-minute videos. You get one joke at a time.
Yeah.
The end. If you're trying to do more than that, your audience is going, fuck off, dude. I'm not sitting here for an hour.
Right.
Now they might sit there for an hour and watch a bunch of those 2-minute, one joke at a time things, but they're not going to they're not going to sign up for a 1 hour special.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yep.
And I guess that kind of goes back to when you think about everything we're talking about with the way things used to be, and record labels and the way music was.
Great Dream Theater song.
And now,
what was that?
The way it used to be.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. Good.
Now it's like, I don't know. We all came up. I think everyone in this room probably, like, we're all album guys.
Yeah.
Like, you would latch onto a band and you would listen to a record, and it was an experience. And you're like, I'm psyched. I got this new tangible thing that's in my hand.
Dude,
that smells really good and it looks great. And so produced this. Oh, he wrote the song and who produced that?
Oh shit! They recorded it here
on this date. And oh wow, you had this whole.
I didn't know
thing.
Sting sang on this song.
Dude, I was a nerd for looking through the liner.
Oh yeah,
notes.
liner note chunk.
Yeah.
And you'd have this artwork.
Money for nothing.
And then you would listen to the record, from beginning to end.
Yeah.
It was an experience.
Mm-hmm.
I still do that. I love that.
Yeah.
And even with what we're putting together in our band, like, it's still important for me. Like, I'm like listening to the songs in different orders, and like, okay, no, I think this is the best way. No, this is the best way.
Right.
And it's like a dying thing because most people don't give a shit about that, and they don't listen to records anymore.
Right.
The way that we all came up in that era. Like,
Well, and I think a lot
experience.
of bands now have gone to, here's a song.
Yep.
And then when they're done with another one, here's another one.
Songs.
There's they don't do EPs or albums or any. It's just here's a song, here's a song, here's a song.
It's very much what you were just talking about.
Yeah.
That short and sweet, like, here it is.
Yeah.
It's a whole other way to listen.
And it is so different because, again, back in the day, you think about it, what was the goal as if you were in a band? I mean, we all grew up in what was called the MTV generation.
Yeah.
MTV grew and was a format. And what happened with MTV, obviously you had radio play still going on at the same time. So
Because there was that paradigm shift from AOR to MTV.
And no matter what MTV played,
And suddenly you found out everyone was ugly.
right. Oh, yeah.
All of those 70s bands, you're like,
Like,
whoa,
ooh, that's
they,
like Uriah Heep.
you guys are all
A heap
busted
of
up. What the fuck?
Wow.
And then that drove. Let's get
They'll
some
look
hair
like-
bands.
The hair bands came in.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know, we got to worry about the
Because all
look.
those prog rock dudes look like meth head truckers.
That's exactly, man.
Totally.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, you have something like MTV, and again, radio still maybe not the dominant format, but it's still around. People still listen to radio.
Yeah.
But the goal was, hey, I want to get in a band. So what was your goal? You remember that back in the day? You want to get a record.
We're gonna get signed.
We're signed.
We've got to get signed.
We're
We're
going to
gonna make a
do a
record.
video.
We're going to get a
We're gonna
video.
do a video.
on TV,
Yeah.
And then we're going to go on tour. So
Yeah.
that was the package deal. That's what you strove for.
Yeah.
And that lasted for quite a while, but that doesn't exist anymore now.
Nope.
You know?
Well, it kind of does because it's okay.
Pivot.
We need to get a decent song, whatever your version of that is. Okay. We're going to make our own video for the song, even if it's just animation and the lyrics.
Yeah.
You know, something has to go up on YouTube that's not just an album cover with sound because that doesn't cut it. And we don't need a deal. We're going to put it out wherever and, cash checks.
Exactly.
Randy, another monster bass player and a
Randy,
hell of a dude.
Yes.
Sorry, I'd put that up, but the
Another
chat's not cooperating.
Another manly man, runs his own plumbing excavating company. So
Nice.
dig that. Get it? And MTV ruined music.
It changed music. I don't know if it ruined it. There's a lot of good. If you start talking about songs from that era, I don't think you'll find.
Right.
You'll find some gems. So I'm not sure it ruined it.
There was a point think like Headbangers Ball, if you remember back in the day, like,
Oh,
that
no.
was the
Oh yeah,
like,
that was
you're gonna get the new whatever it is.
that was our Friday night. Me and my buddy Ray was like 11 o'clock. We gotta go. Didn't care if we were like out on a date with chicks, like double dates, or we were fucking snowboarding, or we were doing whatever. We were like, we gotta go.
I remember that, and switching over to USA, up all night.
Up
Rhonda Shear.
all night with Rhonda.
Anyway,
Get out of my brain.
to be on the point.
Get out.
I think when all
I
that
think we lived in
changed,
the same.
and I don't even know when exactly it happened, but I know like MTV got bought out, and I think like Viacom bought everybody out at some point, and it switched to reality TV. You know, videos got less airplay. Specific shows for music got cut. Headbangers Ball was gone.
Yeah.
Even like the hip hop side, like MTV Rap, so all that stuff was
So you didn't like Daria?
gradually.
Well,
I was watching Beavis and Butthead. I don't necessarily think that there needed to be a spinoff, but yeah.
But you know, I think, and maybe to where there's already before MTV and some music after you watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
True, you had to have.
That's
Like you had.
There was you had to have a look.
You had to have a look. You had to have something. You had to basically make a. If your song was 5 minutes, you had to make a 5-minute commercial for
Yeah.
the song. And,
Well, maybe a gimmick would help.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I also
Best
remember
movie
thinking,
ever.
It got to the point, especially when the shift happened. And I'm not talking just the rock and the metal, the hair metal going into the grunge stuff.
Yeah.
You know, after we're talking like the boy bands and stuff, and the Britney Spears in the '90s.
Yeah.
I remember making a joke like you could have somebody going up there, and forgive me for being crude. Someone could just fart into a microphone for 3 minutes and it would be a hit.
It would
Because MTV is just pushing
say it.
out.
You know you want to.
And because so many people have put it out there, they're just going to listen. Hey, that's a good fart song.
Say it.
That's
Ready?
You heard the
I
fart
just
song?
want to have Pip farting on a snare drum. I ain't farting on no snare drum, man. Yes. We got 3 Airheads references in this
Airheads,
episode already. Loving it.
It changed, and then I think really probably one of the major things that changed it was I watched the special on it, and I didn't really even know the history and everything. It was auto-tune. When auto-tune came out, and suddenly it was,
You don't even have to be able to sing.
we really need people to have the right look, but we can fix your voice. You sound like shit, but we got you. Don't worry about it. We're good. And
The Milli Vanilli scandal stuff.
And I know, like, the whole auto-tune thing, like, for a while, they tried to keep it under wraps.
Oh, yeah.
Because when it finally got out, everybody, that was it. It was a game changer. And I think, in my opinion, that was, like, a pivotal moment that changed music altogether. Because suddenly, there was a point where, you could do some studio magic, and you could fix things in the studio, and you could do as many takes as you needed to. But at the end of the day, you needed to have some kind of ability. If you're a vocalist, you can either sing or you can't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of gone out the window. That's gone.
What was that?
Like
Mellencamp and Bunny Burnell were Rolling Stone. I know I'm so Henry Rollins right now. So I remember they were talking about when they did Scarecrow, and they were like, it was like a bajillion takes, and it was all this shit. We had to do all this shit we had to go to the place with this console. And we had to go do all this stuff, and then they put out that record, a few years back, 2018 or whatever. John Mellencamp and him, and they put 2 mics in the room, and they all stood around and played like they did in the 50s.
Yeah.
And he's like, why aren't we doing this? God damn. The older you get, the simpler stuff. I don't understand why we do this, but we're all doing it.
Yeah.
We realize that less is more, because when we're young, like more is more.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. That's what I'm struggling with right now in the music
Shit.
thing.
That reminds me of a couple years ago. No, I'm not going to think of his name. Bass player, singer, played with Deep Purple.
Glenn Hughes.
There you go. Like 2 years ago was the first record that he didn't track his vocals and bass separately.
Ooh.
Or I mean that he did.
Yeah.
Every other time he's like, I play and sing.
Yeah.
And it was like, why don't we separate that? And they did it on the one record. He's like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I play and sing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
It'd be a different feel
Yeah.
altogether, I would imagine.
Yeah, would be. Even I have singers come to the studio and they're used to playing their guitar, so I'll fucking duct tape the strings or whatever and let them
Do the thing.
strum
Yeah.
and keep their timing and keep their vibe. I don't know. We've done a lot of weird shit in the studio to keep vibe.
Yeah.
Like
It's important.
It is like the whole Doors thing where he's getting a blowjob and singing. We've never gone that far.
I haven't either.
But
I offered.
I mean,
I'm kidding.
hit that high note.
To be fair, that when we were doing vocal tracks on our record, it was just me and you. You had to run the board, and I was in the other room.
So I couldn't suck you off.
So it was like a distance thing. He was like making googly eyes through the glass.
Yeah, this thing.
I got like the facial expressions, and I got the whole vibe, but not like
Do you guys remember the Heyman fire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not the band,
fire or
not
the
the
band?
I was gonna say, I
band.
remember the band and
I went over because my roommate at the time was dating one of the strippers over at TNT's, and I know Scotty from installing the PA system at that time because I was working at Pro Sound. So I installed all them. Yeah. He was like, well, I just need to. So I've gone and got some strippers and called him up, said, hey, come over and hang out so he could perform for you. Oh, I did. I set up the monitors, and he was just getting to sing, and they're all like dancing around, having a good time, and he fucking nailed it.
Wow.
All 8 tracks one night because he needed that boost.
For whatever it takes.
Yeah, most guys just make a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Earl Grey.
Earl Grey.
Make it so.
Well, let me ask you this, and maybe we'll close on this. So now with this saturated landscape or market, however you want to put it, and every dickhead with a computer and a microphone can have a podcast or record records or whatever.
He's talking about us.
Yeah.
I
have no business being on a podcast.
Captain Subtext over here.
Yeah.
How do you be that thing that gets some attention? Is it enough to be really good, or do you have to get like the gimmicks? And
that's a fair question.
You know what I mean? At least some of that, maybe, because I think there are people that are really good, and there's a gimmick.
No, there is. I mean, if you want to talk about gimmick, I mean, like my gut reaction is, hey, hopefully, maybe this is all I know.
Yeah.
Previous projects that you've done, maybe you can pick up potential listeners from those things from the past, and maybe if you're lucky, they might continue to listen on to you. But it all depends on that. Approach is flawed in itself, because if you don't sound like that particular band or sound that they latched onto,
then no, you can't change.
They're like, I don't like that. That doesn't sound like Magnet.
Right.
That doesn't sound like In the Machine or whatever. This sounds like something new, and I don't like that. So that's a challenge, man. I don't know if I have an answer for that.
What was the question?
I got one for you real quick. Then we'll get back to Doug. Ellie Dixon, that's what she does. There's a reason there's a changing of the guard. There's a reason why we get old and we become dinosaurs. It's because we learned from them and we were influenced by them, and that became the thing, and then we were cool. We did the thing. These young pups are doing what they naturally do because, again, the universe supports clear intention. She's doing amazingly well because that's what she wants to do, and it just so happens to be super hip. She wants to sit in her bedroom, be on the camera, sing these harmonies, play cool songs, do the thing, and go play them live, bring her laptop and her bass guitar and her keyboard, and she's a great musician. Like, it's you. Let me put it this way. If Journey came out right now, if Queensryche showed up with Operation Mindcrime right now, if Elvis Presley showed up doing exactly what he's doing right now, what happened?
I agree.
I don't think that. I think if the Beatles came out, or whatever the equivalent is of the Beatles today, it's a whole other. The business model that supported that, and the series of events that would lead to a long-lasting career, and investment financially and the support, you're responsible for that now yourself. And so it's like it's a double-edged sword, because like the sky's the limit, but it's like we've been talking about so much oversaturation.
It's hard to reach.
Well, and because the labels are gone, you can do what you want.
Yeah.
You're not going to have anyone tell you this song's shit. We're not going to put it out or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny too, because I think even, I do know some people that, have worked with labels like in recent times, and even some projects that I was involved with that were sort of going that way and looking at label attention for what it is now. And it's totally changed because now we don't make money off of this, so we're not going to invest money in this.
Yep.
We want you to have a record done already. We want you to have a following. Or what are your numbers like? What's your YouTube presence? And then if you have something good, they will match you. It's funny because you hear bands and they'll tell you, oh, we got a record deal. Now what a record deal is an artist partnership deal.
Yes, it is. Right.
Where you're coming to the table with the record that's already done and a following, things you've worked hard for, and the label will match money to what you bring to the table and put you on the road and take a huge percentage of all your.
I was going to say some labels now. I've heard are even asking for a cut of merch.
And that's what it is. They want a cut of everything. You know, and a lot of venues are doing that too. They want a cut of because there's no money to be made, so that it's like everyone wants to latch on to what is there now.
Yep.
But to answer your original question, you know, I think you just have to set whatever that goal is for you because it's different for everyone. If you're all about content and you want to be the most popular thing online, you want to become a star, it's a totally different set of goals than if you just make music and you want to get it out there. And I think the thing we've been talking about tonight is sincerity, just being really good at what you do and being as real about it as you can, and hoping that if you reach somebody with that and use the tools to get it out there, and just not define yourself by whatever the success will be.
Right.
Because I think it's defined differently for everybody. And now it's never necessarily been a financial thing like what we discussed earlier. Now more than ever, you really just have to have a very realistic goal about what you want to get out of it, and just being yourself and doing something, being the best you can be and presenting that to the world, hoping somebody likes that.
That's true, man. Well said, Doug.
I think like for us, that's kind of our plan of attack. You know, it's not like, well, we got to deal like this or we got to do that.
Because I like records.
Yeah.
And
we're record guys.
We're record guys. I mean, I'm probably going to end up pressing at least 3 or 4 so that we can have them on our walls, like an actual vinyl. Just, I mean, it's whatever. Like, but at least because then, even though it's not for everyone, you know, I kind of want to have that experience.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to a point in my life where I can afford whores will have their trinkets. So I'm like, I would really like to have a vinyl of this, and I'll probably print a couple up and just spread it around and be like,
I can definitely see a limited pressing. You know, I'm a physical content guy, so
same here.
And there is still a market for that. It's when you play shows, you still have something to present, but it's just so different, you know, from what it was. I don't even know what it is now because in some terms, we've all been at it for a long time, so you get set in your ways. And the other side of that is like, man, I don't know what it is now. You get snippets, and you're like, we'll take our best attempt to be a part of whatever that is.
You know what? Something that drives me is that there's always this weird in the back of my head, this little possibility of hope that whatever you're a part of, whatever part of music you create, or whether we're a good group of guys, or maybe you're doing it on your own, that, you know, you put it out there, and maybe there's a small chance that somebody out there, even if it's a small number, even if it's one person, if one person listens to it and they enjoy it, they get something out of it, that's the goal for me. You know, like we were talking at dinner tonight, and I won't tell the whole story. But,
in 100 years,
there was some not weird, but it was a progressive podcast. I think it was Prague Skier. Forgive me if I'm butchering that name.
They don't watch this channel.
Yeah. But there was some guy talking about a bunch of projects that I've been a part of by association with Corey Brown.
Right.
And Corey's been in a bunch of different bands, and it just happened to line up that I've been a part of those bands.
Sure.
You know, I owe a lot of that to Corey. But the DJ or the podcast guy was talking about, I got this other band, and I've never heard of this one band, Psychodrama. And here's a track, and Corey's been a part of, and he listed like Magnitude 9, In the Machine, Section 16, Metro Society. And I'm like, how did you even hear like any of this stuff? Like, it blew me away that somebody out there, and here he is with this stuff. And I was like, wow. And I was like, you know, not every single thing that he listed, but I had a small part to do with some of that.
Yeah.
And when I listened to that, I mean, it sounds cheesy, it sounds a little lame, but I was like, that got me right here. That got me right in the feels. Got me in the gut. And I was like, somebody out there got it.
Oh, totally. You realize that you've done something that's had an impact, that somebody has listened to it and taken the time, and it meant something to them.
It meant something to them.
Yeah.
And 6 degrees of separation of, everyone in this room has played in different bands. At different points, we've played in bands together. We've shared stages together, rehearsal rooms. We've all been in that scene and done it for so long. And we all have stories to tell.
Yeah.
And we all have that connection to each other, in one way or the other. Like, it's...
we could do it. We could do a total show of just stories from the past 30 years or whatever it's been.
Totally.
Trevor's the only one getting a check, but
yeah. So the answer here is do what Trevor did.
Yeah, do what Trevor did.
Do what Trevor did.
And what you want to do.
I wanted to point out before we got off, but also that record was in the running for the worst power metal record of 2016 on Reddit.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I was like, hey, y'all had to listen to it to know how bad it sucks. So
and yet
thanks.
You're
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
There's no
Thanks,
such
guys.
thing as bad publicity, man.
Yep. And
Well,
with that,
on that, we'd like to thank Ian.
I am going to pop up because we do need to thank our sponsors.
I was like,
We
that's
didn't
what I was telling
talk
you.
about any
I was
of
going
them,
to tell you,
but,
put that up. We'll do a yeah. We'll have a little chitty chat about them, and then do a mid roll, and then our outro. What do you say?
That's it.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us.
Yeah.
Maybe this is enlightening to some
Ian,
folks. Maybe
Ian,
folks are just like
Ian Ringling, Doug Brownstone. The names have been changed to protect the indicted.
I'm sure you can figure it out eventually.
I mean, come on. All right, let's see. We've got some plugs. We got some thank yous, and then we got to get the fuck out of here. This Saturday night, 8 p.m., Facing Forward Rocks Peak 31 Union Station here in Colorado Springs. Also, get on our NFL pick 'em pool at Play Action.
Do I need to get rid of that apostrophe?
Yep. Get on our pick 'em pool. Jesus. Go to Play Action. .pub/mantools and get your picks in for week 4, which starts tonight. Use code TOOLS, TOOLS, for 15% off any contest you create. Again, the contest that we have is free.
It's free.
Do not click on the you should pay now thing. That's just a bot. Don't worry about it.
I think they fixed that, but
yeah, I think that they might have. Local members. Our members only 9/11 false flag episode is out and about now. Join locals for just $3 a month and get all of Tools Media's premium content, not the shit from tonight. That's just
right.
All for you regular.
We wouldn't charge you for that.
For you peasants. Right. Yes. Shut up. Merch is now available directly from us at mantoolsmedia.com/shop. All of our affiliate links are also on the mantoolsmedia.com/sponsors. Yep. And we'd also like to thank our sponsors. A very big thank you to EXO AutoWorks and Harmonic Studios, The Beard Struggle. Get 15% off with the code TLANE15. Madrid Maintenance. There's no discounts. You got to pay full price. Clip and Carry holsters and we got those guys?
We do.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yes, we do.
All right, I'm on there tonight. I need one for my 9mm. Clip and Carry holsters and sheaths, Play Action pools, and Smith & Bradley men's watches. Can never tell time on a road, without having a watch, unless you have a sex tent. It's not a sex thing.
Oh, like on a ship? I got you.
You got a ship. All right. Thanks for watching and or listening wherever you partake in our podcast, whether you're pooping or driving or both. On the web at mantoolsmedia.com. On social media is at links.co/mantoolsmedia. Again, thank you to our guests, family, friends. Keys, stay safe down there. Joey, stay safe up there. And Randy, thanks for joining us. If you guys would please subscribe, do the thing that you do with the like button, share and do all that jazz. We are definitely trying to get our YouTube back up to the numbers where it used to be before they shut us down and killed our entire YouTube channel so that we can get our own specific URL. We would really appreciate that. And now What do we do? Another word from our sponsors?
No, I think we're just gonna leave.
All right, we're out.
So good night, everybody.